Reese really thought to say reacting to why anime and manga has become boring, brought to us by the mass man. Now, I don't know if he's talking about why I don't know. I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but we can hop straight into the show.
Has anime and
I'll leave this link down below as well if you
manga
want to watch it
become
on your
more
own.
boring? This is a bit of a loaded question since it's so subjective.
Me personally, I don't think anime and manga has become boring. I honestly feel like anime and manga has become more entertaining. You feel me? Don't get me wrong. The older animes are still goaded. You feel me? We can't take away any of that, but it was like a grind watching older anime. You feel me? Newer animes like Attack on Titan, for example, episode one it just starts off crazy. You feel me? So like, I feel like newer shows and stuff is just like more
Of
entertaining.
course not, while others might answer yes with a question as to why they feel that way. The last 4 years have been incredibly interesting given the boom in manga with series such as Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Tokyo Revengers for a period of time, and the still polarizing ending to Attack on Titan. There was definitely a heavy saturation with new
Please don't
series
spoil me.
catching the eye of readers all over the world. This last year, however, has felt a lot more stale, and obviously I'm not just referring to 2023, but really a good amount of 2022 as well. But perhaps I'm misplacing my sentiment, especially when you take into consideration series that were returning, plenty of new series coming out, and some of the series I've listed are still ongoing, and there's plenty of others that have been completed for years now that I haven't even read yet. So then what is it? Because clearly the answer doesn't lie within the medium itself. I did a video over a year ago talking about my difficulties to watch an anime due to the set pacing it has and my lack of ability to focus when watching one. Even if I think the series is really, really good, it is impossible for me to sit down and watch an anime on my own.
Now that's a fact. It's hard for me to also watch anime, but I would rather watch anime than read manga. It's just easier for me to like understand certain plot points in anime than it is for me to understand it in the manga for some odd reason. I don't know why I'm like that, but I don't know. I really don't know what it is. Why it's harder to watch anime now.
The problem now is I'm having the same issue with manga.
I think our attention span maybe it's like all types of jacked up from TikTok, uh, YouTube Shorts. You feel me? It's just like short form content is just like what is the thing now. So like animes are usually at least 20, 25 minutes. You feel me? So
It's come to the point where I've been reading really good manga like Yona the Dawn and Yusugoi, but I'm having the most difficult time making it past one chapter a day. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that this isn't the first time something like this has happened, and I'm not the only one. Many people in my close circle haven't read or watched a new series in months. It was taedium, simply boredom in Latin. I had reached a point where I had gotten extremely bored of anime and manga as a whole. To better understand this, I looked into boredom and what leads up to it. How could I possibly get bored? Many of these series have been incredibly impactful with its themes and its lessons, as well as providing characters constantly that I love to see grow or deteriorate as the series progresses. To add on top of that, I have the privilege to talk about these things on a platform which I could not be more grateful for. And to even add on top of that, there are so many different genres of stories, each with their own art style, setting, and unique spin on things that I'm familiar with.
right.
There's nothing new under the sun. Everything takes inspiration from something else, but it's the way each series deviates from those commonalities that allows them to develop a unique identity over time. So please stop acting surprised when a mangaka takes inspiration from another one. The point is, how could I possibly get bored with all of these upsides? Boredom itself derives from the simple feeling of being uninterested, taking place in the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, which dictates decision making and planning. Being bored is no longer having the desire to be interested in the details of whatever it is, and most commonly feeling stuck in a repetitive and monotonous experience. Almost like when you're halfway through a semester and you walk in a chemistry class. You could not have paid me enough to have paid attention. But chemistry is something I've never liked from the
He
beginning.
hated chemistry.
Becoming bored of something you're passionate for is a whole other experience. Frustrating that the very thing you turn to in order to be entertained and to escape a bit from everyday life feels a part of everyday life. Although this is slightly deviating from the main point of the video, I do want to point out that losing the desire for one's hobbies or activities that you enjoy over an extended period of time can be a sign of depression. That isn't really the topic of this video, but if you think you're struggling with mental
I
health,
offered to say
do
this
yourself
took a
favor,
crazy
don't
turn.
self-diagnosing on TikTok, please seek professional help. But boredom is a very different feeling from being tired, although it can feel similar at certain points. Boredom more so stems from our mind having a lot of energy but nowhere to direct the energy. thus leading to a lack of interest and focus. That would
Right.
explain why I can't sit still when I watch something at times. For those that feel bored with anime and manga, I think it's largely been due to an overexposure or an oversaturation of this medium of entertainment. In the years I've done YouTube, I've spent more hours reading and making videos about what
That honestly is true. You feel me? Because for me, I pretty much only watch anime. You feel me? I don't watch any TV shows. I watch you, but other than that, I don't really watch TV shows. I don't really care for movies. So, that possibly is why um mo- most people just like just like get bored of it.
I've read more than anything else. Add on top of that some of the personal mental health that I'm still sorting out, and it made for a rather chaotic relationship with what I do. Sure, a lot of factors could be attributed
Jesus
to the
Christ,
nature of
you gotta
being
put it
a
in a
content
blunt.
creator, but even if I didn't do YouTube and I still had all these hours invested into anime and manga, I think I would still largely feel the same. One of the main issues is despite the versatilities that stories can have, many times we lean towards the things we're familiar with and what we know to enjoy.
Yeah,
The negative to this is once we've had enough of the same sort of thing, our minds proactively think we have it all figured out. The tropes and story arcs we've already been through, we expect and predict to be the same for the next story we read. And once the story begins to prove that thought process true,
yeah.
a lack of interest immediately kicks in. You can see pieces
That is, bro. Some shows, bro, it's literally some of the characters are like copy and paste, but it's just not the same plot. You feel me? But they having the same tropes, the same cliches. You feel me? Same character design. You feel not same, but similar. You feel me?
of this in the conversation surrounding anime and manga in general. The amount of times I've heard typical shonen, and the amount of times I've said it myself when describing a series, is mostly the result of people reading a few of the most mainstream shonen titles and believing every shonen that has ever existed follows the same style of writing. Are there similarities within the demographic? Yes, of course, but to this day I should not be getting people saying Attack on Titan's a seinen when it is a shonen. Overall, I think the conversation surrounding anime and manga as well has become more monotonous than my voice. It's all mid, peak fiction, clears, and some of the occasional bi-weekly sideshow of the Black Clover fandom getting into it with another fandom for some reason. I don't know who starts it or why it
Man, that's
starts,
just Twitter,
but it
bro.
always happens, and it's always so funny
Twitter is so
to
toxic, bro.
see from an outside perspective. So with the feeling of
All Twitter, Jesus Christ, his head is crazy. Pause. Twitter is, bruh.
repetition
Bruh.
exists when you read or watch
I've
an
seen so
anime,
much hate
the
on
fiction
the app.
around it isn't much help. But even if you really enjoy a certain genre of manga, be it horror, romance, action, mystery, eventually too much of the same thing can feel uninteresting. The simple solution would be to read out of a genre you typically read, but once you do that enough, then you start to predict things that happen in your mind regardless of the type of story it is. And if the
Right.
story early on doesn't offer something new or exciting to the mind, dropping the series is
What is
certain.
this?
Some have more
That
patience,
looked hard.
but even then, if a series doesn't become uninteresting at the start, then it eventually will. Again, this is all under the assumption that you are under the same predicament I often find myself in. The feeling of boredom and disinterest for an anime or a manga comes in once we feel that all the time we have invested into this story has been nothing but a waste of our time. This is partially why I say it's not always what's in the story, sometimes it's the person experiencing it. A story can be great, but oftentimes it's the first story that impacts us greatly that's hard to replace. And so it's this
Right.
never-ending search to find something that can make us feel something akin to that previous series. And if it doesn't, then disappointment can be soon to follow. I don't think it
Right. I feel like I'd be having high expectations for most shows because I watched all the shows that are like considered the best of like all time, like first. You feel me?
it was a coincidence that my investment into manga went up during the time of the pandemic. Without the
But me personally, I don't think no show is touching One Piece, and I don't think like bruh ever bruh like I think
usual social
bruh
activities and sports that often occupied my time, I, along with many others, were forced to stay indoors. And what else to do but make the time pass by watching and reading things? This only fueled what would become this oversaturation of anime and manga. But if there's a positive in all of this, is being bored isn't entirely negative. Neuroscientists, in fact, would argue that boredom can lead to more creativity in the mind, since it is
yeah.
searching for something to invest the energy into. We think how this could be better, more engaging, and entertaining, and so it creates something new from the inspirations we have, be it the good or the bad ones. Eventually, that thing created becomes popular, more things are created to follow the formula laid out by said thing, and eventually we get accustomed and numb to that thing as well. It's a bit of a vicious cycle. To take it a step further, this sort of problem with boredom can extend beyond just our forms of entertainment, but into our daily routine. Whether you're going to school, going to work, no matter what it is, if a large majority of one's time is devoted to something and nothing substantial changes, it can feel stale. After a while, it feels like you're slamming yourself into a brick wall over and over and over again, and hoping for a different result. So if anime and manga has felt largely boring to you, what's the solution? Well, it's balance. One of the biggest issues that I have as a person is I'm a man of extremes. Ask anyone who knows me well enough, and one of the main words they'll use to describe me is obsessive. When I like something or I'm invested into something, I invest myself so much into becoming better at said things or knowing more about it.
I'm that same way, and I think that could also be. I think that is kind of bad in itself. You feel me?
Having the same 10 seconds of a certain part of a song replayed over and over and over again,
I'll do that,
burn
but
out quickly. The horrible solution I have to prevent myself from becoming obsessive is detaching myself completely, which in turn leads to separation and these long extended breaks from things. But the solution is finding balance. Easier said than done. But when one becomes bored and soon apathetic, it's important to change things up and include other things that can take us away from whatever we're getting bored of. Managing a schedule so we can fill our day-to-day routine with other things, even new things that we might be uncertain that we'll enjoy it or not. If you don't go to the gym, try incorporating that into your schedule. Tired of anime and manga? Try watching live action and movies, or even try books and comics. Go for a walk. Fill your life with things that can give you a breath of fresh air and allow your mind to appreciate.
I was just gonna say that, bruh. Something new. There will always be something new in like everything, bruh. You feel me? So, like, even at first, if you don't like something, you might like it years later, bruh. You feel me?
Appreciate the simple things. I find myself enjoying a manga when it's bad more than good recently, because when I'm reading a series, despite it being bad, in my personal opinion, I get to have fun with it. It's a rarer experience for me since you guys tend to recommend a large majority of really well put together series. Therefore, I get to have fun with it again. I even found myself rereading things that I knew once sparked a feeling other things I have read since have just not been able to replicate. Adding on top of that, I've made a conscious effort to add other things throughout my daily life, but it's something that I'm still working on. So clearly the issue wasn't the medium of it at all.
Right.
It was me and how I was managing my time with it. So when I took some time to look at it, anime and manga hadn't become boring. I just needed some balance.
This is a fantastic freaking video. I'm not gonna lie. This is a great video. Too much of anything can be bad. You feel me? I think the more series you see, the harder it is for things to stand out. That is a fact. I don't even feel like I watched or read that much stuff. I probably watched in total probably like around 100 something shows. You feel me? But like, and I know that there's dudes and girls who watch stuff who have seen way more stuff, you feel me? But even I be getting like burned out, you feel me? What are them signals I need to change, not necessarily the activity, but the foundation of reason for said activity. I don't need to read all that, but you spend, not gonna lie. So yeah, I will leave this video link down below in the description below. You feel me? Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. You feel me? And yeah, go follow my Twitch. You feel me? This is my follower goal. You feel me? I'm trying to get 50 followers. You feel me? But yeah, I'm trying to watch some shows over there. You feel me? I'm watching Beyblade. You feel me? And any new shows that be dropping, I might check it out. You feel me? But yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and have a blessed day. Peace.
Then she gon' pull out the tape and tie me up, then lock me away. That bitch, she said that she hate me. I am not faced. My niggas waiting at your place. For all this shit escalate, I need to know how many niggas you've played. How did you take off your tape? She looking right at me and she swerves into the lake.